Hello and welcome to PolyCosm. My name is Christina and today I'll be showing you how the shadow pass render option in Blender can be super useful for finding good light compositions in your scenes, and how this render pass can be used as a way to kind of generate thumbnails for example, client work, illustration work, or even environment concept art. So yeah, let's get started. You might be familiar with some of the render passes that Blender offers. If you're in Eevee and you head over to the Render Preview tab, you'll get an option to turn on Shadow as the render pass. Right now you won't really be seeing anything, but if you add in a few things like a plane, Suzanne, and a sunlight, we'll start getting somewhere. You can rotate the light and get feedback in real time, which I think is so cool. Now you're probably thinking, well, okay, so this is such a simple trick but can actually be extremely useful for thumbnailing or coming up with a good composition for a shot. Bet you're familiar with these type of composition studies or thumbnails. By eliminating a bunch of values, you break the shot down to its purest form, shadow and light. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have light in the shadow parts, but it's more of a quick and effective way of establishing a shot through just simplification. Upon first glance, you'll only need a few seconds to kind of really figure out what's going on in the shot. You'll get a good feeling if it's a calm establishing scenery shot, a dramatic shot, and so on. So how can we use Blender to help generate quick thumbnail ideas? Take this scene for instance. I've used Jose Vega's brilliant Kitbashed sets to put together a scene of this man discovering some ruins in the desert. Without the shadow pass render, this is how the scene looks. Kinda ugly, I know. Note that I use the Kitbashed set because it has a lot of interesting silhouettes. When doing black and white thumbnails, silhouette is everything. It can really make the dullest scene interesting. And that's sort of what you want to kind of strive for in a simplified composition shot like that, because you're not really working with anything else than just black and white values, you know? So let's try flicking on the shadow render pass and see what happens. Pretty cool, isn't it? If you select the sun lamp now and press R 2 times to freely rotate the sun, you get to kind of control what's in shadow and what's in light. If you have the add-on Physical Starlight and Atmosphere installed, links to that in the description and pinned comment by the way, you can control the lighting a bit better, as you can choose whether the sun is high on the horizon, low, or how it's kind of rotating around in the scene. There are a few settings I like to enable when using this method for thumbnails. For instance, if you want softer shadows, you can enable soft shadows under the Render Properties tab. You can also turn off ambient occlusion, bloom, and so on. I even tend to lower the viewport sampling to about 5, as we only need a few for the shadow render pass. Under shadows, I tend to go for the highest cascade size and the lowest cube size. If you get issues with jagged edges, which I honestly don't know how to fully get around, it might be worth playing around with the bias setting under shadow in the sun lamp settings. You can also mess around with color management if you want to make the white darker or the black brighter. You can also manipulate the colors under curves if you're after a more stylized look. Okay, so let's say we have the scene with a few cameras set up. I'll be using the clay shader while placing some cameras around and jump back to the shadow render pass whenever I feel happy with the shots. Then I'm going to pull up the timeline. In camera 1, I'll rotate the sun around until I get a result I like and jump back to frame 10. If I press I while hovering over in the viewport, I can keyframe the rotation. I'll jump into camera 2 by pressing the camera icon in the inspector and move forward a few keyframes, maybe to keyframe 20, and rotate the sunlight again until I get something that looks cool. Again, pressing I can add in a rotation keyframe, and if I move out of the camera view and scrub between the two keyframes, you'll see the sun changing positions. So this is a great way of just testing a bunch of different light and camera compositions. Repeat this process for the 2 other cameras, and there you have it. Here's camera 3, and here's camera 4. You'll notice that each composition has a different feeling and focus. Sketching all of these by hand might require a lot of effort, but here in Blender it literally only takes minutes to try out things super quickly. And you can of course keep refining or even drawing on top of the ones you like. So let's talk about how we render out these 4 shots. It's actually pretty straightforward. Whatever dimensions you have the camera set to under render properties is going to be the output you get. Jump to a camera view, and under view, viewport render image, you'll get a full resolution render. Just remember to turn off overlays up here, or you'll get the 3D cursor, sun lamp icon, and so on included in the shot. Here's a quick tip, by the way. If you need to perform this action very often, I'd recommend just clicking it, adding it to your quick favorites, and accessing it by pressing Q while hovering over the viewport. And there you have it. The scene I created wasn't the most exciting, but I kinda hope you see the uses this might have for either illustration work or quick environment concept art thumbnails, and so on. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We're in the process of moving homes actually, so videos over the next few weeks will be a bit shorter time-wise. We hope you don't mind. Bye, guys.